25 of 100 on threes, and we lost one game by 1 point, and we lost the other game in overtime. So I do not think you will see a wavering of confidence outwardly, but their actions late in these games tell a different story.
Go ahead, go.
I hear you, Wendy, and trust me, I get process. But coming into game one, they had shot 25% from the three-point line 5 times the entire season, including the playoffs, right? So at some point, especially when we're looking at athletes, to Perk's point, that we all admire and see the depth of their artillery, so to speak, as basketball players, if the threes aren't falling and you have the ability to get to the paint or to challenge in a different way, then y'all got to figure it out. You got to allow the game to dictate it a little bit as we take another look at the numbers. But again, this Knicks defense continue to stand up. And I get it on the threes. Himbo gave me some great numbers in terms of them actually getting a number of open threes, 19 out of 75 in terms of open looks.
Yeah.
But if it's not working, if it's broke, you need to fix it.
Bill, can we also point one other thing out? The Knicks have not played well in this series.
They have not.
They have not really. They have not looked like the team that they were winning 51 games this year offensively. Jalen Brunson hasn't had his signature playoff game like we saw so many times in the past. They have not done it either. If they figure some stuff out offensively and get things going, what happens in this series?
Well, in the same exact way, though, let's give the credit to the Celtics for that as well. Like, these are two good teams. That was so let's go all the way back to the beginning. The point that I was making, and Big Perk, I will give you credit because you were making it strongly. This was not a one-sided series before it began. This was one where the Celtics were favored and deserved to be, but the idea that the Knicks didn't belong on the same floor with them absolutely never made sense to me. Now let's turn it around. This series is not over. Usually when a road team steals the first 2 games of a best-of-7 series, you basically say, well, that's it. It's curtains. I don't feel that way in the slightest, to the point that Windy just made. The Celtics were 33-8 on the road this year versus 28-13. So, Big Perk, what is your, right now, love to, if I ask you who's going to win this series, forget what you thought was going to happen before it began. Who's going to win this series, Big Perk?
This series is over. I don't give a damn about what the Celtics road wins and what their record look like. First of all, do you realize how rocking the Madison Square Garden is going to be in Game 3? The energy in itself is going to have the Knicks players making shots. Do you realize that they have one of the best clutch guy in Jalen Brunson? Do you realize that role players actually play better at home? So I'm expecting Mitchell Robinson, Deuce McBride, even Mikal Bridges to play better at home. Although Mikal Bridges and those guys been playing better on the road. Look, right now, they have the mental edge over the Boston Celtics. I don't give a damn what nobody say. The Celtics are done. They're not coming back in this series. I have all the trust and faith in the New York Knicks. They're going to win this series. The Celtics will be lucky to get 1 game.
Do you feel that way?
I do now. And Perk,
you feel like this series is over. The Knicks.
I feel like the Knicks are the favorites now to win this thing.
So it's different between being the favorites and it being over.
Over means like it's done. It still you have a lot of games left to play. But I'm giving Perk credit because he said if the Knicks win Game 2, the series is over.
He did.
So he's standing on business there. But Karl-Anthony Towns did warn everybody in the locker room last night one thing that he experienced himself last year is the road team winning the first 2 games, which his Minnesota Timberwolves team did in Denver. Then they come home, and what did they do? They lost the next 2 games.
They wound up winning the Game 7 on the road, yeah.
You talk about a crazy finish, too. Game 7 on the road. So this can turn, and Karl-Anthony Towns was warning everybody in that locker room, hey, listen, we can feel good, but keep in mind, this is certainly not over in their minds. But when you're looking at what we're looking at and seeing the way the Knicks are playing and seeing where the Celtics are going through and the Porzingis factor and Tatum not looking right, all those things, you have to believe that the momentum has shifted extremely in favor of the Knicks.
So, Wendy, I'm going to ask you to play amateur psychologist here because you were in the locker room and you've used words like confounded, they seem bewildered, they just seem surprised because the Celtics feel, I'm going to paraphrase what you've been saying this morning, the Celtics feel like largely they've done the things they felt they needed to do in this series to win, and they find themselves down 2-0. Do you sense of tightness? How would you describe the psychology of the Celtics now, knowing they're on the road for the next 2 games, down 2-0?
I think they're in a position they haven't felt in a very long time. Remember, they didn't get to a Game 6 at all last year when they won the title. but I've been around this group through dozens and dozens of playoff games over the last decade. I have seen these guys play brilliant basketball. I have seen Tatum have awesome games and Jaylen Brown have awesome games. I think the Celtics, difference between them being up 2-0 and being down 2-0 is maybe just a couple of shots, and they're shooting way below their level. But I will say this. They've screwed up a little bit here because they have now allowed the fact that if Jalen Brunson does have a great game or the Knicks have a great shooting game, which you know can happen in a series, then that could be curtains for them. Their margin for error is now 0, but I still think that they can do it.
Yeah.
Don't forget the conference finals 2 years ago against Miami.
They went down 3-0. Right. For those who don't remember it, the Celtics went down 3-0 against Miami in the conference final 2 years ago, a series in which they were heavily
lost
favored
the first 2 at home, went
win.
to Miami. Miami smoked them in Game 3.
Then they fought back. They won 2 games. They got a miracle to win Game 6 on the road, came home heavily favored and largely expected to win that Game 7. I had already made my travel plans to Boston because I was hosting Countdown in those days, and instead the finals wound up opening in Denver because they wound up playing, the Heat wound up winning that game easily in Boston. So crazy things have happened. I'm trying to find the stat on teams losing the first 2 games at home in a best-of-7. Someone will send it to me. It doesn't happen often. 26-5, thank you. Teams that are in the situation the Knicks are in right now are 26-5, having won the first 2 games of a best-of-7 on the road. We'll see. What do you think? That's the question we're asking. It's a fascinating little dichotomy of things that are happening right now. The odds on ESPN Bet, and it is sort of a strange way this can go. The Knicks have become the favorite. Look what a prohibitive favorite the Celtics were before it began. The Knicks are now favored to win this series, but remarkably, the Celtics remain the favorites to win the East. If you go to ESPN Bet, you will see the Celtics remain the favorites. So I have my question up, and the votes are coming in fast. Who do you believe wins this series? Twitter X, I just put it up an hour ago. 54% say Knicks at ESPN Greeny on the Twitter.
I have not voted.
Get your votes in now because it could make a difference. We'll have the winner before the end.
Các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh YouTube của mình. Ngày hôm nay mình sẽ làm một chiếc video là tô màu những sản phẩm, hoa quả, con vật, đồ vật, vân vân. Nếu các bạn chưa biết sản phẩm gì đúng không thì hãy xem hết video và để lại một cái like và một lượt subscribe để mình có thể tiếp tục động lực ra video nhé. Và bây giờ các bạn hãy xem hết video để biết đó là sản phẩm gì nhé. Bây giờ các bạn cùng mình đi tô màu nào.